Hello, I'm Mayu and I'm making multiplayer horror game and this is my 7 days progress. Day 0. I already have an idea of the game where there are monsters and you keep solving puzzles to move from one objective to other while trying not to die, which is similar to other horror games available online. The reason why I'm not making it very unique is simply because it's been around a year since I started learning Unreal Engine and game dev in general. Also, I've made projects before but haven't really sticked around to finish it and also never published any, so this project is my entry to having a published game. Day 1. I made my players be able to look up and down. I added a flashlight and also synced with other players. Then I added a gun from the Lyra project, but for a few hours I spent time to figure out why the gun animation would not work. Turns out I just had to make blend in and blend out to be 0 because the animation is fast. I spent hours to figure this out. Next, I added a line trace that goes from my gun to the middle of the screen for damage. Day 2. I decided to add a monster. I found this free 3D model of this amazing and scary monster and added to my project. Right now the monster doesn't look that intimidating, so I made the monster tall enough so that all the girls like him. I gave the monster a state 3 so that it can patrol or chase player. With Unreal Engine's AI perception, I was able to make the monster chase player if he sees the player. The AI controller kept glitching on me whenever I tried to use the context variable, so I had to manually set it up. This also took me so long to figure out because it was just an Unreal Engine glitch. The monster also could be killed, which in the main game would be harder, but for now the bullets do the job. For atmosphere, I added hanging particles to spawn around the player. It looks good, but not sure why sometimes it just disappears when looking at a certain angle. Day 3. I added damage detection for players, created a temporary health bar, so now we are really in danger. Well, kind of, because nothing happens when health reaches 0 for now. I added light around the gun when shooting. Next, I spent making a blockout of the hospital so that I can make my ideas around the layout. I gave temporary sounds to the monster, but the chase sounds looping gets annoying very fast. Good thing they are temporary. I added volumetric fog, but it's not finalized whether I would use it or not because of the performance. Then I made a reload system that took me hours to make, but it still would not work. So I just ended the day with a broken reload system. Day 4. Look at this cute puppies. Now look at this cute puppies. I wanted to have a small monster enemy which is not really a threat but it can still annoy you and damage you, so I added this monster crab. It dies in one hit but you can still take damage by touching it or if it gets close to you and jumps at you. So keep a lookout for them or they might sneak up on you. I also knew that I wanted the hospital to have multiple enemies as it is a hospital that did experiments to make these monsters. So right now I only have 2 and wanted to add one final one in future. I then made a locker where you can hide. While making this locker, I created an animation where it opens and closes the door instantly, and it just felt fun to keep it that way and to keep it that time limited. Like if you are in a hurry and try to open the locker, you have to enter it in it quickly, else it would just close automatically. It felt like a unique game mechanic instead of the common press once to open and once to close, and I just decided to keep it that way. I also made it that when the monster is following you and you go in the locker, the monster will come close and hit the locker once or twice if glitched. It's not a bug, it's a feature, okay? If locker is hit 3 times, it breaks and now you cannot hide in it. I do want my first objective to be like start the main switch, which would start some of the electronics and lights but not all. So I have this temporary logic added which uses event dispatcher to activate multiple lights. Day 5. I kept trying to fix the monster AI as it kept bugging a lot. Sometimes it would just stop following you while chasing. If other player walks in front of him, the monster simply just ignored him instead of chasing him. I was using the same state tree that I made for the big monster in the crab too, but as the monster's AI kept getting a bit bigger, it felt like an overkill for the crab, so I made the crabs to be purely blueprint based. I then created basic rooms for the blockout. Day 6. Again, I tried to fix the monster AI and remove any bugs that appear. I also realized that when locker breaks, it is not updating nav mesh, and as monster can only walk on nav mesh, after breaking locker, he just starts walking away. This is where I learned about dynamic modifier of nav mesh and converted the locker to nav mesh obstacle. Now if it breaks the locker, the monster will start chasing you. Then I made a base item blueprint which uses data table to specify which item it is. This allows me to add and change items pretty quickly and not having to make different blueprints for each item. Right now there is ammo, health and orange card which for now does nothing. I created a spectator logic which turns out is really easy to make and seems like there is no tutorial on it online. So I have created a video on my tutorial channel explaining how to make spectator logic. It did take me a few hours to set up, but that is because it was my first time doing it and now I can do it pretty quickly. I did a simple respawn system where you just press P to respawn. Next I added Steam to it using advanced session plugin which took less than 5 minutes. Before making this project, I was creating another multiplayer project where I set this plugin for the first time and I remember spending like 1 or 2 days on it to get it to work. Mainly because in Unreal Engine 5.7, they changed something with Steam Socket. But this time it took less than 5 minutes, which shows that I have made progress and have been learning a bit. I have kept my last project on hold as it requires multiple people to test it and I don't think I would be able to test it. So this one I can test pretty quickly and get my friends for a few minutes to test it. Day 7. I wasn't able to work much on this day. Just did some iteration, fixing and cleaning. Also, I haven't thought about lag compensation till now. And also made some of the stuff in a stupid way. For example, instead of turning flash on and off and letting the server know that I have turned the lights on and off, I made it in a way where it sends that I want to turn the flashlight on and off and then waits for the server to send me approval. But for something like flashlight, it doesn't matter. It's not something like ammo or health that client can cheat. So when I tested with network emulation to check lag, it would take so much time to turn the flash on and off when pressing F. So I had to fix it and also I have to fix other places where I had done similar mistakes. And I've also created a tutorial on it on my tutorial channel on how to create flashlight for multiplayer and also explained about the network emulation and lag. I was able to do 2 playtests with my friend. It's in Hindi but I've added English subtitles. The first playtest is on day 7 and the second playtest is on day 8 where I added pin lock and other stuff but I'll keep that for the future videos. Thanks for watching and here is the playtest. वॉइस नहीं डाला है मैंने अब तक. दिख रहा है कुछ? दिख रहा है. एक बुलेट में मरता है ये. ऐसे कर तो एक्सप्लोर कर. मैं देखता हूँ. बहुत बुलेट्स कम है याद रखना. मरा नहीं. उसमें छुप जा ना अंदर जाके लॉकर में.
भारी हो.
मेरे पीछे आ गया.
थोड़ी
देर रुकेगा वो चला जाएगा. ये देख पेट चला गया. बाजू में ही है. वो मरेगा नहीं. तो उसका एचपी बहुत है. उसको नहीं मार पाएगा तुम लोग. ये जो है ना ये चेंज हो रहा है क्या? देख तेरे से
नहीं. कैसे चेंज?
क्लिक
करना
ई
नहीं
हो रहा है ना. मतलब ग्रीन पे ऊपर जाएगा, रेड पे नीचे आएगा. फ्लैश बंद कर सकता है. ऊपर लाइट है देख. ये तो बहुत ब्राइट दिख रहा है, उसका देखना है। सर्वर में कभी कभी गलत दिखाता है अगर मैंने भेजा। ये आ गया वापस। इसको 1008 करना, 1008। पिंग 170 हो गया।
नहीं मेरा
खुल गया ना,
ठीक है।
ये देख खुल गया आपने।
हाँ, खुल गया।
नाइस। मतलब ये पिंच सिस्टम चल रहा है इसका। 5 है, चारों 5 चेंज हो रहा है नंबर। अच्छा है, नाइस नाइस।
रहा है ये
चल मस्त। ये डोर नहीं खुल रहा ना किसी से भी, ये देखना। ये कैसे खुल गया?
नहीं।
अरे किसी ने तो उठाया रहेगा ऑरेंज कार्ड, मैं छुपा के रखा था।
अच्छा, मैंने एक ऑरेंज बॉक्स उठाया था।
हाँ वही ऑरेंज कार्ड था, तो वो कार्ड रहेगा ना तो ये खुलेगा वाला। हाँ एक और बुलेट। नाइस। स्पेक्टेट स्मूथ तो लग रहा है मेरे को। स्पेक्टेट भी भागेगा शिफ्ट दबा के। नाइस।